Smartphones have changed the way we do just about everything, including how we take pictures. And these days, every single one of us has a high-resolution camera in our pocket. Here to talk to us about it is Rich Brooks from Flight New Media in Portland, because these cameras can take some pretty good pictures, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be taking good quality photos. So how can we improve our picture-taking skills with our phones?
That's a great way of looking at it. So one of the first things that we want to do is recognize that taking a good picture starts before you even snap a photo. Okay. So start by just wiping off your lens. I know that sounds so basic, right?
Yeah.
But grabbing your phone out of your pocket and pulling it out, I don't know about you, but half the time I'm grabbing it by the lens and then there's all this oil and dirt on the camera. Just wipe it off.
Yep.
Secondly, you want to treat your phone like a camera. So by that I just mean take time to get the right shot, line it up, hold the camera with two hands, use the grid overlays, which is a feature on most camera apps, and just get into that mindset with the right light and everything like that. And lastly, a lot of people just use the default camera app, but I'm going to recommend that you actually download a better app. And there's a lot of other camera apps out there that you can use. Lately, I've been playing around with Adobe Lightroom. That's a paid app, but there are some free ones out there. They just give you more features and more flexibility in terms of taking more dynamic photos.
So the cameras on our phones are certainly powerful, but what are some of the limitations that we should be aware of?
Yeah, because the megapixels are so large, we think they're very powerful, and they are, but one of the shortcomings is the zoom ability. So if you have a traditional camera, you're going to either swap out the lenses or use a zoom lens to be able to get that close-up photo. The way that our phones replicate that is through something called optical zoom, where they use multiple lenses, which is why a lot of times on new phones you see 2 or more lenses there.
Right.
So that's how they do it. But the other way they do it is through something called digital zoom, which is not really a zoom. It just basically crops a picture, makes you think you're a lot closer, and pixelates it. And so you want to avoid that. So if you're seeing digital zoom come into the picture, then what you want to do is just step forward and take a closer photo.
Okay, good to know.
And the other issue is light. So your traditional cameras are really good in almost any kind of light, but not so much with your smartphone. So you need to make some good choices. First of all, never use the flash on the back if you can avoid it. Just use natural light. And if you are taking a photo in low light, you can switch over to night mode, which will actually allow you to take much better, darker photos. And that will keep the lens open a little longer. So what you want to do, again, hold it with two hands, and I usually say anchor your elbows into your sides so you can get a really stable photo. And that'll allow you to keep a still image for like 2 to 3 seconds. If you need more than that, then you probably want to get a tripod out.
Okay, good tips there. So once we've taken these photos, how can we make them look even better?
Right. So I think we're all comfortable with filters because of like Snapchat and Instagram.
Everywhere these days,
But sometimes we're just covering up some really poor photos. So you don't want to do too much there. You really want to make these changes subtle. But even professional photographers edit all their photos before they show them off. So you can do the same. What I recommend is don't use the in-camera app to do this unless you're using a program like Adobe Lightroom, which is more of a photo editing app that happens to have a camera attached to it. So I recommend Snapseed is one of my favorites, and it's free for both iOS and Android cameras as well, so that's a great one. And the other thing is consider taking those images off of your phone and putting them on your computer, where you're not going to be like limited by how fat your thumbs are in terms of doing that editing, and you can really do some detailed work there.
Okay, and we all know that selfies are huge. These days you show up to a landmark, something, whip out the phone, take a selfie. How can we take the best selfie?
So a lot of the same things apply. Like take your time, get the angles right, use a lot of natural light. So if you're indoors, you want to go walk up to a window, put the camera right against the window for that shot. That'll be a much nicer photo. It helps if you have long arms or friends with long arms. Because the closer the camera is, the flatter everything gets, more distorted it gets. So that's why sometimes that front-facing camera is not doing you the justice you deserve. And then the other thing is a lot of people look at the screen when they actually should look at the camera lens. On the phone, it's usually the little green dot or something like that. And then I just learned this trick while I was doing the research for this episode. At least on the iPhone, the portrait mode works for selfies too. I never knew this. Game changer. So definitely try playing around with that next time you're taking some selfies.
Oh, I love this. Great tips. Rich, thanks so much for stopping in and sharing them with us. And if you want to read more about these, just head to the 207 section of our website and app. And don't go anywhere. We've got more 207 for you right after this.